I really don't know how to feel about this thing that happened to me recently, so I'm just going to explain it and then you can let me know if this feels valid or not. But at a restaurant I used to go to, I met somebody that worked there that's pretty cool. I like them, they like me, and we just kind of started talking. During that talking stuff, we wanted to, like start hanging out or whatnot, but she has more like really overprotective parents because her situation is like a really unique one. So it was like, all right, I'm finna meet up with the parents and then, talk to the mom or whatnot. Then we're gonna go out get something to eat. Before we could do that, the mom just goes to hang out with her own friends and she doesn't meet me. And because she never met me, the girl was not able to go out and hang out with anybody that day. In her 30s, mind you. I'm like, all right, that's cool. I'm not really thinking too much of it. But there's a situation, like, I wanna say the next week, like 2 weeks later, where she tells me that, oh, she hung out with some people at a bar, just like, playing pool, whatever. But it's like, oh, you didn't know these people? They were just random people, and your parents were cool with you going to hang out with those random people, but they wanted to meet me before you hanging out with me. I didn't want to assume nothing, but I did want to ask, like, it doesn't have anything to do with me being, and at first, she got defensive, saying like, "Oh, what do you think? All Asian people are racist?" Like, which is crazy to even think in the first place. Obviously not. But when I said that, she was able to break down like, "Oh, well, her father had like a bad experience with some people that had stole from a previous shop that he had, so he might be a little racist toward people." So I was like, "Oh, okay. So don't ever be like, oh, am I?" If you know that's how your dad is. Never mind that though. Never mind that though. Even though that was probably a red flag. But things continue on for a minute until I want to say like maybe one weekend I'm hanging out with friends and I don't get like any message back, which at this point is a little weird. But then I find out the next day, oh, she was hanging out at some like event thing with a childhood friend of hers that she grew up with. I'm not dumb because I'm like, all right, so you could just like hang out with this guy and there's no problem. So I'm like, just inquisitive. I'm asking about these things, and she's like, "All right, I'm just gonna be straight. I felt something when I was hanging out with them." I'm like, "All right, cool. Thank you for being honest." And even though I was upset in the moment about that, like a couple hours later, after I took a nap, I was like, "All right, look, I was able to calm down and everything. If you still want to be friends and whatnot, that's cool. But I'm just glad that you found somebody your parents are cool with you hanging out with." And as far as I was concerned, I had swept the whole thing under the rug. I'm not even like trying to do anything with that anymore. Went to the restaurant that she works at one last time though, because like Comic Con was a while back, the LA Comic Con one, and I had got her a gift. Which at this point it's like, I may as well just give her the gift now because I would never see her in the future to give her this gift. So I'm gonna pick up my order. I'm gonna drop that gift off for you, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm done with the whole situation. Only to get home and see that my food has hair in it. As for the food that had hair in it, I never threw it out. I still have the whole thing because I was going to take it back. I just didn't have it with me when I was doing that because I was already out doing stuff that day. But I did take a picture of the hair that was in my food. It was like literally breaded in to the breaded chicken. Breaded in, it was cooked in to like the katsu chicken. So clearly I didn't add that. So when I go back to this place so that I can be like, all right, there's hair in my food. I'm not even thinking about the whole situation with I'm not gonna use her name. But then they're like, hey, you can't come back here. We said that you can't come back here. I'm like, I'm only here because y'all had hair in my food. Mind you, they didn't want me coming back to the restaurant because the daughter worked there, and they had no problem with me coming there before. Because I was a person come to that restaurant long before I knew their daughter. Once they found out that their daughter liked me and the feelings were mutual, then they was like, hey, you're not allowed to come here. And the funniest thing about that whole thing was her saying that, oh, this is just between me and my dad. It doesn't have anything to do with you. If it didn't have anything to do with me, what do you say fuck me for? I'm the one that can't come back to the restaurant now. So it's like he brought me into the equation by doing that. But at this point, I'm only here because there was hair in my food. In which I'm trying to tell them that, and they're like, there was no hair in your food, dude. I'm like, all right, that's pissing me off. Why would I come here to lie about something like that? That's a big pet peeve of mine. I'm showing them the picture and whatnot, and then Becky in the back is like, oh, well, what do you want us to do about it? Which is like the stupidest question I could have ever heard, because I'm like, standard procedure, give me back my money. So they're like, all right, go wait outside. I'm waiting outside. Buddy comes out and he's like, oh, can we talk over here? I don't know who this dude is. He ain't a manager. I think he's just a dude that works there. He starts explaining like, look, you never met the owner or whatnot. And I'm like, I know. I tried to talk to him, but he didn't want to talk to me. He was like, oh yeah, but he doesn't feel comfortable with you being around his daughter. I'm like, he don't feel comfortable with me around her? She like me. And I'm like, look, dude, I don't even care about all that no more because she was some other dude. I came here because there was strictly hair in my food. Y'all trying to make it about something that it's not about. They're like, come on, man. I saw the harassing emails. I was like, harassing emails? I sent emails to your customer service because y'all were treating me bad. And you took that as harassment? Never be in charge of your own HR department. And he's like, yeah, harassing emails. You were like calling the owner racist. I was like, I never called him racist. And he was like, yes, you did. I read the emails. And this is where I knew his bitch ass was lying, because I never typed that. I pulled out my phone and I even looked up the email. I absolutely hate in moments like this where somebody is lying on your name and you know they're lying on your name and you're trying to get the evidence to prove that they're lying. And while you're doing that, they're like, well, it doesn't even matter. It does matter, because if it didn't matter, you wouldn't have lied on me. In that email, I said that I heard from someone that works there that the owner might be a little racist, even though I don't think that. If anything, I think he might be prejudiced. No, those are not the same thing. And the person that told me that he might be a little racist was his own daughter. So the call came from inside the house. But anyway, he gave me back my money and he was like, you can't come back here. If you come back here, there's going to be problems. Like, there ain't going to be problems anyway, because I don't want to see you guys no more. I took my money and left, and part of me felt like I'm glad I stood up for myself and got my money back, because at this point, I really do suspect some type of foul play, and somebody probably did put this hair in my food on purpose. But I felt so disgusted and sick to my stomach because I've never been mischaracterized so bad in my entire life. These people calling me all sorts of names to my face, and I'm just like, you know what? All this, I am so glad we never got together, because this is, I now see, this is a racist environment. Because I never brought it up. Your daughter brought it up. She called it out. And now that day showed me, as without a shadow of a doubt, that that's exactly what y'all are. Now look, I'm gonna give y'all grace. I ain't naming the restaurant, but I had to get this off my chest because I'm tired of having it just spinning around in my head. I don't got no ill will toward her. I don't got no ill will toward her parents, even though she apparently they go to church. So I hope God, please drop a seed into their life, have them learn the error of their ways. As I know, maybe I had that treatment because you giving me karma for something I did before. I ain't a perfect person. That could be it. But at the same time, somebody trying to lie on my name like I would just bake hair into my own food. I've had experiences with people that could be prejudiced or racist before, but this is probably the absolute worst. It's the worst. This is the worst experience I've ever had with that. Like, there's so many different ways that I felt about this that I couldn't even feel like heartbroken or everything. I felt just disgusted. I felt disappointed. I felt a little bit relieved that it never went further, but at the same time, I also felt sad. But I'm not trying to make this like some type of woe is me post. I just really wanted to just get that out. I'm tired of thinking about it. Letting me do this honestly, it feels a little bit better just to be able to talk about it. It's just that when things like that happen, it makes it really hard to even want to like go out, hang out with people and whatnot, because I end up getting in my own head. Like, I don't know anybody's true intentions. I don't really want to talk to nobody. I'm gonna be honest. And I know that's not healthy. I got to get back out there. There are friends out there waiting for me to, pull up. And it's just, I just had to get past whatever this is. I don't want this to just be like a rant video, so let me like put a lesson here. Like, well, what did I learn from this whole thing that I can probably break down to y'all so that y'all don't go through something similar? First thing, if you see early signs about like the family around somebody, like even though they're cool with you, if they family not cool with you and they're not cool with you not because of something you did, just because of something that you might be, probably the hugest red flag, and you shouldn't even try to be like, hey, if they meet me, they'll like me. It should never come to that point. Now, Mom, I'm sorry, because you tried to tell me, you tried to tell me that, hey, you shouldn't have to try to prove yourself to be around nobody, and I was like, she don't really know her the way I do, and I'm gonna shut up next time. I'm gonna just listen. But yeah, at the end of the day, I pray that God give them grace. God give me grace. I pray that I can do better in the future so that none like this happen again. And I pray that they get over whatever it is they clearly got to get over so that don't happen again with somebody that's not me. I didn't raise my voice or anything, but it could have been somebody over there that did do that. But at the end of the day, the call that the owner might be a little racist came from inside the house from his own daughter. And I appreciate you greatly for telling me that, because it does give me the closure that I was never going to get from, those people. But yeah, that's the video.